Welcome back to another Prep Series video. I believe this is episode 7. We'll be going through a full pull session, or you can call it back and biceps, whatever floats your boat. Pretty interchangeable to me and my training style. But essentially, if you have not seen any of the other prep content, I will throw a little link up to the prep playlist in case you're interested in seeing some other videos. But for this poll session, I want to start to highlight just some training videos throughout prep, kind of give you an idea of my execution for each exercise, and then also you guys will get to see my exact sets, reps, and weights for each exercise. Not going to include every rep and every set in the video per se, but we will go ahead and throw up my poll session for you guys to take a look through. And as that's up on screen for you guys, taking a look in the background, you guys have been seeing weighted pull-ups, one of the staple movements in my pull training or back days. That is just due to the ability to progress it in terms of adding weight, and then also just a great vertical pull movement. Kind of includes pull back, so something I am very fond of and definitely would recommend if you do not have it in your workout routine to definitely include a pull-up or at least a vertical pull movement of some sort. But seeing top set on screen right now, big thing for pull-ups, just looking to bring that chest up to the bar and then have a nice slow negative down to create some time under tension. And in terms of my pull sessions, how I will go about structuring them is to include a couple of vertical pull movements like pull-ups, lat pull downs, and then as you guys can see on screen, it is a horizontal row, or I will include chest supported rows. So big thing, just including a mix of those vertical pulling movements and horizontal and chest supported rows. And then also in terms of the execution on the seated low row that you're seeing right now, for me, this is a movement that I'm more focused on moving a lot of weight, fully reaching at the bottom, and then just trying to fully yank and contract at the top. A little bit of bro science here, but just have included both movements that I'm very focused on execution, like the pull-up, and you'll see later in the video single arm lat pull down. But on these C low rows, really focus on that big reach and then trying to pull back and contract it as much as possible. And just find that has really helped to develop my back throughout the off season and can include doing so going forward. Don't see it as like a risk of injury or anything like that. So no big downside for me on that execution. Just doing a little bit extra movement in terms of leaning back and forth and using my body weight to help move it. And then on screen right now, seeing one of the staple movements for my pull days is just a single arm lat pull down. I know some gyms won't have machines like this, but you can definitely put a single handle on standard lat pull down or even on a single cable pulley, do a kneeling variation of this, and I would definitely recommend trying it out. It is one of the back movements that I have best mind muscle connection with. And in terms of speaking on mind muscle connection for training back, it is definitely one of the areas that I struggled with in the past. And my biggest recommendations for you guys to kind of learn how to connect with the back is to actually do variations of lat stretching, which I know sounds weird because we're trying to body build, but if you can feel your muscle while doing stretches, I guarantee as you start to get into these movements, you'll be able to feel that nice stretch at the top, and that'll help out with you feeling the contraction when you're at the concentric of that exercise and kind of leaning into that lat. Yeah, and this movement just so great because you can, with the single arm, really lean into the side you're contracting and then focusing on pulling that hand, kind of putting it in my pocket per se, or pulling towards my pocket. But yeah, just a very great exercise in my opinion for building the back, and you'll see it often. A lot of people with this variation as well, and for good reason. Yeah, and just big thing for prep, still rolling through. Weights have more or less stayed the exact same, especially for pull days. Feeling it a little bit on some push exercises, and then also back squat is one of the movements that I'm feeling it a bit. But overall, just very focused on continuing to provide that same stimulus for my body to hold on to as much muscle mass as possible. And then another thing, if you do struggle with that, my muscle connection, as you guys can see in this video, I do use straps for some of my exercises and some of my, especially my top sets. And definitely would recommend doing the same and trying it out. It just will keep from your grip or your forearms being the limiting factor in the back movement, and kind of take away from the need to focus on those areas to continue to hone in on feeling your back contract. And also, I may have mentioned it, but for this video, just going to include a couple of sets of each exercise, cover some tips there, and we will get to the bicep exercises after this last chest supported row. Really do enjoy this movement with the supinated or underhand grip. Do really feel the ability to reach at the bottom, and then also as you're coming back, creates a unique contraction in terms of your elbows coming up and really feeling your traps and rhomboids contract at the top, and can kind of roll those shoulders forward as you get a full stretch at the bottom, and then nice contraction at the top. And as they say, backs it or shows are won from the back, excuse me. So it has been a very big focus in my off season last 4 years, and definitely a place that has very, very much improved along with my biceps, as you guys will see coming up here shortly. But even on this exercise, did lose my grip a bit, and that's kind of where I wish I would have used straps. As you guys can see, had to reset for the last couple of reps, and just no shame in using the straps by any means. Definitely a tool that should be added to your toolbox if you don't use it already, in my opinion. And moving on to the last two exercises of this pull session, we do have a seated dumbbell bicep curl. I am purposely creating a bit of an arch in my back here. Can also do this movement on the incline bench, like on a 45-degree angle. Just in my gym is quite busy, as you guys can see in the background, even at like the 10 a.m. during the week that I train at. So tend to find that these like 90-degree benches are often open versus the inclines. So just have always done this movement with that kind of arched back. And big focus here is just creating as much contraction in my biceps as I physically can. I'm definitely happy with how the physique is progressing. Can start to see that vascularity in my shoulders start to come through. So very excited, kind of as we get deeper into practice, see how the body transitions. But as mentioned, strength definitely holding on, especially in these pull days. So yeah, this first bicep movement really focused on that peak contraction, staying in that active range of motion, and then moving on to the last movement, which is hammer curls. In this exercise, more of a focus on just moving the heavy weight, trying to control